Hello everybody and welcome to the Darlington Raceway with the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Cookout Southern 500, and the opener in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs begin here tonight, the round of 16. The final crown jewel race of the season here in the Southern 500. The Hendrick teammates get the front row. Kyle Larson and William Byron are regular season champion as we're green and underway here in the Southern 500. Who is going to go to victory lane here at the track? Too tough to tame in Darlington. Kyle Larson clear for the lead early over Chase Briscoe, last year's real-life winner, and William Byron, our regular season champion, winning just last week at Daytona in our simulations, as Larson out to the lead down the back straightaway, trying to lead the first lap of the night here. Going to be a long one, 367 laps on deck here for the Southern 500. Byron back to the inside, though. Going to be side by side for the lead at the line. Kyle Larson will lead the opening lap of racing, but here comes William Byron back to the inside, trying to take the lead away here on lap number 2. Some great racing early, the 5 and the 24. Right there, Chase Briscoe in third, waiting in case these two make a mistake in this battle for the lead. Hamlin fourth and Reddick fifth, but it's Kyle Larson clear for the lead over his teammate William Byron early in stage 1 here of the Southern 500. Can he drive away to pick up the victory? William Byron to the inside, trying to make the move here on the 5 of Larson for the lead. Larson hangs on the lead next to the turn 2 with a big run of momentum down the back straightaway. Larson in control here in Darlington over Chase Briscoe and William Byron. Now on to lap 36. Our first playoff driver in trouble of going one lap down. That is the 88 of Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG, running in 23rd position here tonight in Darlington, and he will go one lap down as Kyle Larson laps SVG. First playoff driver in trouble is Van Gisbergen, losing a lap. Now a few laps later on lap 39, here comes William Byron to the inside of Larson. He used Josh Berry as a pick, and William Byron will now take the lead away for the first time tonight here in Darlington. Byron leads 40 laps into the opening stage of racing as he gets by Kyle Larson in that pass, using lap traffic as an ally. Now caution came out on the speedway. I could not find why. So now we're going to have a restart here on lap 66, I believe. It is going to be William Byron and Ryan Blaney on the front row. So Larson dropped the third. Great pit stop from Blaney. So now how about the 12 of Ryan Blaney? Of course, pulled off that incredible 4-wide photo finish victory at Daytona just last week. That was incredible to see him do that. Now here he is trying to go and advance to the round of 12 with a big win here in the Southern 500 at Darlington. Of course, if you remember back to the spring in real life, Blaney was so strong late in that race, but the caution took him out of contention with a bad pit stop and allowed Denny Hamlin to steal that win. But Blaney battling Kyle Larson out the inside, but Blaney leading the way for Team Penske and Ford here in the Southern 500. Kyle Larson, can he get to the bumper? No. Blaney clear for the lead here in Darlington. We'll see if he can hold off the Hendrick and Gibbs cars. Few laps there. Here comes William Byron back to the inside in the 24 on lap 69, and William Byron takes the lead back from Ryan Blaney, who gets a big run down the back straightaway, though. Larson, a great push on exit turn 2, and now side by side for the lead, Ryan Blaney and William Byron. Who will get control of this race, the 12 or the 24? It's going to be Byron who will clear Blaney for the lead with about 25 to go in this opening stage. Now a few laps later, about 10 to go in the stage, Larson to the inside of Byron, who gets pinned behind the 51 of Cody Ware, and Larson is going to use Ware to his advantage. The 5 back to the front. Larson leading the Southern 500 as he gets by William Byron in lap traffic as he tries to drive away to yet another stage win of the season. Now here we are, I believe this is 2 to go on the stage. It is Larson alongside the 19 of Chase Briscoe, who has made his presence felt, the defending Southern 500 winner in real life, trying to make this pass on Larson and Byron, but Briscoe right now pinned behind the lapper of Ty Dillon. Larson and Byron stuck behind Nemechek and Chase Briscoe, and nose ahead of Larson here as we hit the final lap of stage 2. Will be Larson, Briscoe, or Byron, a 3-way battle for the stage win, and Denny Hamlin's even getting into this as the double blockade by lap traffic has completely changed this, but it's the 5 of Larson getting clear on the outside lane. Hamlin into the wall there behind him, pushing way too hard. Significant damage to the right side of the number 11 could affect Denny the rest of the night, but it's Larson leading the field here in Darlington as he makes his way in 3 and 4 for the final time in the opening stage of racing. It's going to be the first stage win of the playoffs. It's going to go to Kyle Larson, wins stage 1 in the Southern 500. Briscoe, Byron, Hamlin, and Bell the top 5. Blaney, Buescher, Bubba Wallace, Chase Elliott, and Tyler Reddick right on the top 10. All playoff drivers earning stage points here. Tremendous effort here from everybody in the top 10. So Larson gets an all-crucial extra playoff point. I get back underway in stage 2. Back here, the second group of cars is a little bit behind the lead pack here, but it's the 11 of Denny Hamlin taking the lead here in the Southern 500 over his teammate Chase Briscoe on the restart with some slightly different strategies being played throughout this field. Hamlin, of course, won the spring race here in real life back in May. And he's now trying to go back-to-back in real life here. Of course, Hamlin, a former Southern 500 winner, so strong here. Always usually good at these type of racetracks where you got to save tires to be in the mix. So how about his teammate, the 19 of Chase Briscoe to the inside, and Briscoe wants the lead from Hamlin. Can he get it? Yes, Chase Briscoe to the lead of the Southern 500. As we get our way through stage 2, he gets by his teammate Hamlin, is now in control of this race. Now, if you upstairs, lap 136, it is Byron and Briscoe battling for the race leads. They catch up to the back of the 60 of Ryan Preece here, about to go lap down. Can Byron get the lead away from Briscoe? He's got a nose ahead of him into turn 1 and 2. And Byron, just like he did earlier with Kyle Larson, going to use Preece as a pick, and that will allow him to get the lead back from Chase Briscoe. William Byron continuing to impress in this playoff opener, back to the race lead, getting by the 19 of Chase Briscoe. As Byron in control, Briscoe second, Hamlin in third. Larson still got some work to do to get back to the front of the stretch. The 8 of Kyle Busch is parked on exit of turn 4. Mechanical failure. Our first playoff driver to have a catastrophic issue is Kyle Busch, the 16 seed. The engine has failed him. But I guess whatever issue it was, they are able to get it back out there. Kyle Busch just going to lose a lap, which is going to be costly to his day behind the 8 ball. Tough start to the night for Kyle Busch. On the restart now is Briscoe and Byron once again battling for the lead. Hamlin, Wallace, Blaney, the top 5. The 24, is he going to clear an exit? No, he will. William Byron clearing Chase Briscoe for the lead here, the Southern 500, as we are on that 145. Byron in control. He's got a really strong car tonight, but so does Chase Briscoe. We know Larson is fast. He's just been back in traffic for most of this stage 2 here. Hamlin's in the mix here. He's had a great day. Now caution's coming there. Kyle Busch again, and the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Caution for a crash involving 2 playoff contenders, Ty Gibbs and Kyle Busch. And that is huge playoff implications. Busch and Gibbs are going to be out of this race. Joining them in the garage will be Ricky Stenhouse, but Busch and Gibbs will finish in 36th and 37th, and they are our first 2 playoff drivers out of this race, and that will put them in a major hole heading into Gateway next week, and of course Bristol, the round of 16 elimination race in 2 weeks. So you get back underway once again. It's Briscoe and Byron battling for this lead. But that was really tough for Kyle Busch, who, as there are no stage points today, entered as the 16 seed anyway. Is going to be in a virtual must-win scenario. Ty Gibbs entered right on that cut line. He might fall below that cut line in that 54 here today, as it's Byron and Chase Briscoe battling for the lead here on lap 167. The 24 pulling ahead on the inside. Can he clear? No. Chase Briscoe, a big run down the front straightaway, back to the outside. And these two have been putting on a show this entire stage. William Byron and Chase Briscoe going at it here in the Southern 500. Larson right there behind them in third. Hamlin in fourth, as they try to find a way by Briscoe. Now the momentum down the back straightaway. Briscoe is clear of William Byron for the lead into 3 and 4. But the 24 hops down the lane to the inside, going to get some momentum here on exit of turn 4. And right back to the inside goes the 24. Some great racing for the lead here tonight in Darlington. It is William Byron and Chase Briscoe putting it all on the line, both wanting to advance to the round of 12 with the victory. Of course, Briscoe winless on the season up to this point, has not won since Daytona, the regular season finale back in 2022. He's on a 3-year winless drought. Can he break that here today, as Byron is closing in on the inside? This would break a 109 race winless drought for Briscoe, but here comes the 24 of Byron, who's trying to go back-to-back with race victories, and Ty Larson for most wins in the series this season. Byron is strong run to the inside, but he can't quite clear Chase Briscoe. This incredible battle for the lead continues here in Darlington. William Byron, Chase Briscoe back and forth. Byron finally gets clear into 3 and 4, but Briscoe right back at him with a crossover to the inside lane. Not going to go down easy. Briscoe, Byron, what a battle for the lead here in Darlington. Who is going to prevail into turn 1? The 45 is on pit road. Problems for Tyler Reddick and major playoff implications for the 2311 Racing driver, and that could be huge. Reddick going to be multiple laps down, some kind of mechanical issue. They're working on the car on pit road, and that is a costly miscue for Reddick here as he tries to advance in the playoffs. Now here on lap 200, Briscoe back to the inside of Byron. The battle continuing now as they catch the lap traffic of Derek Kraus in the 44 and Daniel Suarez in the 99, but it's the 19 of Briscoe who will finally take the lead back from William Byron. As we are about 24 to go in stage 2, Briscoe leading, Byron second. As we head into turns 3 and 4, Briscoe, of course, been so strong this year, was able to make the playoffs by about 30 some points by surviving Daytona. Now here comes the 24 William Byron to the inside with a crossover move. Here comes Byron once again. Now just 16 to go in the stage. Byron to the inside of Briscoe using the lap car of Zane Smith as a pick. Of course, the 38 has some damage from an incident earlier in the race, but it's Byron and Briscoe fighting for the race lead. Big run on the 19 on the outside lane. Can he get by Byron as he go to turn 3? Looks like he will, but the 24 going to come down pit road. Scheduled service. Byron hitting the short pit strategy to try to undercut Chase Briscoe and cycle out into the race lead. Briscoe comes in about a lap or 2 later. How will that affect us? Here comes William Byron cycling out of course, the end of this pit cycle. Where will he cycle in relation to the 19 of Chase Briscoe? Here's Briscoe now making his way through turn 2, about to merge back onto the racetrack after his pit stop. Looks like the 24 is going to have some momentum as it's going to be close, but William Byron's going to get the lead. The undercut strategy works to perfection, and William Byron leading with just 15 to go in stage 2. Now here on the final lap of stage 2, Byron about to lap his teammate. The 48 of Alex Bowman running in an 11th, just kind of having a quiet night tonight. But Byron to the outside, going to lap Bowman because Bowman will get the free pass, and that will trap fellow playoff contender Brad Keselowski a lap down. So Bowman gets the free pass. William Byron will win stage 2, making it a Hendrick stage sweep tonight. Christopher Bell will be second, followed up by his 2 JGR teammates of Hamlin and Briscoe, third and fourth. Ross Chastain was at the top 5, then Chris Buescher, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Bubba Wallace, and Chase Elliott are top 10 in this second stage as they're all coming to cross the line now. So William Byron wins stage 2 after Kyle Larson takes stage 1 here in the Southern 500 as we head to the third and final stage of racing. As now Byron kind of a little bit ahead of the pack as you get back underway. The whole outside lane is going to come shooting on by the 24 here. There's some kind of like glitch there on the restart or whatever. So now a couple lap cars. Byron's still the race leader, but if you'll remember, this same thing happened in the Craftsman Truck Series simulation we did yesterday. And Corey Heim was leading, and Heim ended up being forced to make a pit stop because I guess the game decided to penalize him even though he did absolutely nothing wrong. That's exactly what the game is going to do to William Byron as the 24 is now forced to come down pit road, serve a penalty, and the 24 will go 1 lap down. William Byron now a costly bad restart glitch there, going to screw him over. It's now the 19 of Chase Briscoe, of course, will inherit the race lead, going by his teammate of Christopher Bell in the 20. Then another caution came out for some debris, which from Todd Gilliland in the 34, who's actually out of this race, joining Gibbs, Busch, and Stenhouse in the garage. So that gives Brad Keselowski the free pass. William Byron is fighting Joey Logano for the first car 1 lap down, that free pass position right now. But Briscoe leading over Denny Hamlin and Chris Buescher. The 19 impressing here tonight in the Southern 500. Can Chase Briscoe bring home his first win of the season and punch his ticket to the round of 12 in the car that won the championship a season ago with Martin Truex Jr.? But here comes the 11th of Denny Hamlin to the inside. Hamlin wants the lead. He's going to say not so fast to his teammate of Chase Briscoe here in 1 and 2. Hamlin giving him all these guys. They go through turn 2 now. Buescher waiting in the wings, but Briscoe clears Hamlin for the race lead and maintains control in this final stage with less than 100 to go in the Southern 500. But another caution comes out. This one gets William Byron the free pass. So Byron back in the game in 15th, but he has a long, not 15th, sorry, 13th. But he's got a long way to go as Hamlin now the leader on the restart over Chase Briscoe. Can Denny Hamlin deliver once again in Darlington? We will see as he is driving away from Chase Briscoe and Kyle Larson as Hamlin leads the Southern 500. But Briscoe is there, and now here we are with just 64 laps to go. Briscoe gets the lead from Hamlin, and now Briscoe continuing to have the best run he's had all year long here in the Southern 500. But then Briscoe came down pit road. Here's this pit cycle cycling out. Kyle Larson pitted 2 laps earlier than Chase Briscoe, making a huge difference. Kyle Larson with almost like 5 seconds on Briscoe. Larson now in control of the race late in the Southern 500. Caution! Bubba Wallace in the 23 is on pit road and out of this race. Sorry I missed what happened. I didn't quite catch it, but Bubba Wallace, huge playoff implications for the 23. Another 2311 driver with a problem tonight. First it was Reddick with the mechanical issue. Now Bubba is going to be out of the race, joining Kyle Busch and Ty Gibbs in the garage as we see a battle for the lead here. Briscoe and Larson, 21 to go this Southern 500. This looks almost exactly like he did a season ago in real life. Larson leading, but Chase Briscoe on the charge. Can Briscoe get by Kyle Larson to win the Southern 500 and punch his ticket to the next round of the playoffs? We will see as Larson a nose ahead into turn 1, but the 19 staying disciplined, staying on the outside lane, letting the car roll through the corner, trying to get the momentum to use a crossover here on exit to turn 2 on Larson. The 19 though gets to the outside. Larson throws a block on Briscoe, but what will the 19 counter with into 3? Larson in control, but the 19 drives to the inside. Here comes Chase Briscoe for the lead on the inside of Kyle Larson with 19 to go in the Southern 500. Can Briscoe take this one back from the 5 of Larson on the inside? No 1 and 2. He does. What a move from Chase Briscoe, and he is taking the lead away from Kyle Larson and shades of 2024, and it could be Briscoe's path to victory lane and the next round of the playoffs as he is driven by Kyle Larson. But now here we are with just 6 laps to go, and Larson to the inside. Briscoe held up by AJ Allmendinger and lap traffic. Now it's a side-by-side battle for the lead with just 5 laps to go. Chase Briscoe and Kyle Larson, who will prevail in this battle for the win here in Darlington. Briscoe clearing Larson thanks to Noah Gragson in the 4 on the inside, and that could be all Chase Briscoe needs. And how about Ryan Blaney takes second from Larson, but white flag in the air. Final lap presented by Credit One Bank in the Southern 500 for Chase Briscoe. He has not won in 109 races. It has been a 3-year winless streak. Ryan Blaney trying to chase him down. Going to run out of time as they go down the Boeing backstretch into 3 and 4 for the final time. The 19 is back in victory lane for the first time since the championship last season in our simulation. Chase Briscoe wins the Southern 500. He's going to the round of 12. Blaney in second. Kyle Larson third. William Byron recovers to fourth. Chase Elliott gets a top 5. Chris Buescher, Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain, 6th, 7th, 8th, Seabell in 9th, and Brad Keselowski rounds out the top 10, beating Alex Bowman by 1 spot. So Chase Briscoe earns his 2nd career win and snaps a 109 race winless streak to advance to the round of 12, and that 19 car is getting hot at the right time of the year. You never know. He could go on a championship run. As here are our final race results from tonight's Southern 500. Chase Briscoe, the winner, also snagging the Xfinity fastest lap of the race, so an extra point to his bank. Ryan Blaney, a great late race charge to get the 2nd. Larson just slips away once again, coming home in 3rd, followed by his 200 teammates Byron and Elliott 4th and 5th. Chris Buescher, Denny Hamlin, Chastain, Bell, Brad, great top 10 efforts. Alex Bowman comes home in 11th. SVG, after everything he went through, salvages a 15th place finish. Now that is pretty impressive. Tyler Reddick also salvages 18th after being 7 laps down. And then, of course, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch having catastrophic days, getting involved in accidents and mechanical failures, taking them out of this one. Going to be huge as we get the playoff grid. Briscoe, the only one who can breathe easy over the next 2 weeks, locked into the round of 12. Byron, Larson, Chastain, Bell, Hamlin, Buescher, Bowman, Blaney. Pretty comfortable points cushions. There's no mistakes. They should be good. Elliott, 15 to the good in 10th. Brad Keselowski now 2 points above the cut line in 11th. And SVG sits on that bubble 1 point above the 45 of Reddick heading to Gateway next week. Bubba Wallace out by 17. And then Ty Gibbs and Kyle Busch starting to get closer to that must-win territory at 24 and 27 points below the cut line respectively. But we do know Kyle Busch is a pretty good Gateway racer, so we'll see what he can do there. But Briscoe wins, locked in the round of 12. And so as we conclude this episode, as always, I'm going to give a special shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much to JJ, Brenda, Breen, and Jeremy Isaac for your support. Really appreciate it. Means a ton to me. Helps this channel continue to grow, produce some awesome content. Now working towards 2,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you are watching and are not subscribed, please do subscribe. It's completely free. It only takes a couple of seconds, and I would really, really appreciate it. If you want to get a shout out at the end of the video like these three, become a paid channel member, link is in the description down below. Till next week from St. Louis, I hope you all have a good one.